Rejection, criticism, and the fear of failure. Striving and thriving. Flip it. Use rejection as fuel to achieve your goals. Rejection. If you're going the traditional publishing route and have been in the query game for any amount of time, you've received emails like this. After careful consideration, I am sorry to say that I do not think I am the right agent for your work. And so on. It's all very polite and honest. I don't begrudge the agents at all. They're doing their job. What I want to address is how it feels. Ouch, thud, sigh, sob, ah. I've been on the receiving end of hundreds, truly, of emails just like these over the years. I've also been lucky enough to receive some kind feedback, partial requests, and fulls. It is a glorious feeling that makes me all heady and forget which end is up. I do all the cliche things like jump up and down. And this is what I try to focus on. But when there's a no or many no's, it stings. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. It will be okay. You are not alone. It is not the end of your career. You only lose if you let it consume you and keep you from doing your work. It's more productive to focus on what's working rather than what's not. This will move you closer to where you want to be. Criticism. Don't ask for directions for people who have never been where you're going. Two kinds of criticism. There's a distinct difference between constructive criticism and cruel criticism. Constructive criticism, or better named constructive feedback, is done with the spirit of good intentions to help you learn, grow, and improve. This might come from editors who have recommendations for how to strengthen your manuscript. Cruel criticism has another vibe altogether and is intended to insult and hurt. It often comes in the form of negative reviews. When we finish a manuscript, in a lot of ways we're bearing our deepest vulnerabilities and sharing what we've created, our stories, the inner workings of our mind, and our writing skill with strangers. It can be a bit close to our hearts, but remember, it isn't your heart. It's a book. It's words. It's not you, not connected to your inherent value as a human being. Remember this. If criticisms appear, they're not character judgments or indictments on who you are. It's also best to distinguish who's giving the criticism. Is it from an industry professional, someone well-versed in your genre, a reader who has a thing or two to say but in a kind way, or someone who's bashing and trashing your work? While it's easy to take criticism personally, it's in your better interest to discern the person's relationship to writing. If their opinion is credible, their intention in sharing the information, and what either of you has to gain are all things to consider. Take heart. One more thing many writers have come across is criticism from people who have no skin in the game. A lot of times people who have unfulfilled dreams, who don't have the courage to pursue what's on their heart, take risks, etc., might belittle, undermine, or criticize your work because they perceive that it's actually a reflection of their shortcomings. And this is usually not conscious on their part. They can be friends, members of your families, or coworkers. While we can't change that, we can model the courage and dedication to live our dreams. Fear of failure. You only fail if you give up. You're here in this course, which tells me you're on the road to success. I also know that you're courageous and dedicated, you're willing to learn and work, which tells me you're sure to succeed. Still, fear of failure is real, and it can cause paralysis. I've seen a few sources for fear of failure. Sometimes we're afraid of what others will think if we don't achieve our goals, especially if we put them out there for everyone to see in the form of a book. I call shenanigans on that. Not on the way you feel, but that anyone worth their salt would have something negative to say about someone else for trying to accomplish something big, to pursue their dream. Sometimes we stop ourselves consciously or unconsciously from putting our work out there because then it's open season. So it can be easier to hold off, tell ourselves that it's not ready or perfect yet. Me too, been there. But you are not alone. Sometimes we're afraid that if we accomplish our goal, do the thing, or start making more money, our lives will change. It's not necessarily conscious because of course we know that our lives will change, but that could also mean relationships might shift. Sometimes we fear that we'll be left alone, or we'll be leaving those we care about behind, so we avoid taking massive action. The what-if game. If you're playing the what-if game with yourself, what if I fail, what if I embarrass myself, etc., then ask yourself, then what? Then what will happen? Well, what if it doesn't happen? What if you can deal with it and go on? But what if something great happens? Anytime you feel mired in negativity, the following slides are some suggestions for what to do to soothe the bruised ego and get back to it. Regroup. It is a good idea to do something that isn't writing, tweeting, checking email, etc. Pursue another hobby for a few hours, meet a friend, do something to take your mind off things. Sleep is always a winner. A good distraction gives me a bit of distance from how I felt in that moment, crushing rejection, criticism, etc., and provides a renewed perspective. Perhaps you need a technology break. Go off social media and the internet. Phone down, eyes up. Step away. Sometimes the best thing to do is take regrouping a step further and actually step away from the project, queries, etc. for a time. A day, week, month. Ditto renewed perspective from before, and also time. It is a miracle worker. Answer. Why do I want to write or tell stories? What is my driving motivation? What is my intention with this endeavor? Write it down. This has helped me get back on track and reminds me why I do what I do day after day. Edit. Sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. You've read your MS going on a dozen times. You printed it out, read it aloud. You go at it with the red pen, but there may still be errors, holes, parts that need professional TLC. Hire editing services, but do your due diligence and be sure they're reputable. But it can always help. Support. Find support, give it, receive it with other like-minded writers, the kind who offer chocolate and a hug when necessary, as well as cheerlead you through all the ups and downs. Do the same. If you sense you or someone in your life needs professional help, never hesitate to reach out. And then keep at it. Keep writing.